the Legacy and Reconciliation Bill. Francis Hughes, a journalist, joins us from Belfast in Northern Ireland. I'm asking about your thoughts on this controversial bill and what you've gathered about what Northern Ireland people are saying about it.
Well, the majority of people here are not in favour of this bill because they feel that the victims deserve justice and that this bill will not bring them justice. Now, we have political representatives from the likes of Sinn Féin and the Democratic Unionist Party who, in public, claim to be against the bill and demand justice for victims. But if we go back to November 2020, at Lambeth Palace in London, there were secret negotiations held between the Irish government, the British government, representatives of the Irish Republican movement, and representatives of the pro-British loyalist paramilitaries, along with the Ministry of Defence and the Police Service of Northern Ireland. It is believed that those in attendance had primarily agreed to some form of an amnesty, because by this it means all those who played a part and were indeed involved in the violence have been given a get out of jail card. All these people will not be held responsible for the violence and the murder and the maimings that have been caused under their watch. But primarily, this has been designed to prevent British soldiers being brought to court and the possibility that their actions were sanctioned at the highest levels by previous government ministers and indeed prime ministers like Margaret Thatcher. So it's seen to be a whitewash. It's supposed to be about reconciliation, but it won't reconcile the victims with the perpetrators. And I believe it's just a sham in order to allow the guilty to walk free and the innocent will get no justice. They won't have their day in court and they won't see anyone sentenced for the crimes committed against them and their families.
Well, this bill was introduced in May 2022. Do you think the public outcry against this amendment could just be strong enough to stay action on the bill?
Absolutely not, because the Conservative Party has a majority in the British Parliament. They are pushing the bill through. It is up to them to see that it's passed into law. If we go back to the days before the Iraq War, 2 million people stood outside the Houses of Parliament and demanded that Britain did not go into an illegal war against the Iraqi people. 635 MPs in the British Parliament, or a majority of them, voted to go to war. If 2 million people in London cannot stop 635 MPs going to war, I can't see how tens of thousands of people in the north of Ireland will have any effect whatsoever on the outcome of this bill.
And what options do you think are available to those who are protesting against the amendment to that bill?
There's no protection. People can protest, but what's actually happened with this bill is that the amnesty or partial amnesty that was being offered was rejected, I believe, in the first reading of the bill by the House of Lords. It was sent back to the House of Commons, and the Conservative government has demanded that this immunity, this indemnity from prosecution goes forward. So they have reworded and amended the bill, but the bill has been returned basically in its entirety. As I say, it cannot be understated that the British government wants to protect the 200,000 veterans that served in Northern Ireland as a force of occupation. And indeed, these powers will go further, I assume, with Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria and Yemen and what other wars, including Ukraine, that British service personnel are involved in.
Well, it's just about a day away, and we look forward to what the amendment would be now coming from the House of Lords regarding this controversial Legacy and Reconciliation Bill. Francis Hughes is a journalist and joined us from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Thank you for talking to us on The World Now.
Thank you very much.